Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again, looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So I'd like to look at the issue of the American Constitution and the authoritarianism on the left. Liberal Supreme Court justices have long since adopted the philosophy that the Constitution is a living and breathing document. In practice, this has meant ignoring the plain meaning of the Constitution for the sake of advancing progressive ends. They creatively reinterpret the Constitution to support their favorite outcomes. So, in other words, there's an end they wish to see imagined, like abortion, legalized, and then they creatively reconstruct the Constitution in their mind to support that favorite outcome. This is a blatant betrayal of their sworn duty. Their sole role is to determine whether legislation is compatible with the Constitution or whether it is not compatible with the Constitution. Ideally, their personal views have or should have absolutely nothing to do with it. As private citizens, they can vote in their legislatures to support abortion or to fight abortion. But as a Supreme Court justice, is the legislation compatible or incompatible? Entirely its role. A constitution that is not binding on everyone is no constitution at all. Creative reinterpretation is obviously authoritarianism, deciding issues that should be decided by the voting public, as in a Republican democracy. Roe versus Wade was an outstanding example of the usurpation of authority from the public. The Supreme Court had no right to weigh in on the matter and legalize it. No. And this recognition should have nothing to do with whether you're for or against abortion. Absolutely nothing. Right? It's the principle that matters here. And affirmative action, which is racism. So thankfully, the court has made some corrective moves in both those regards. Committing evil to advance your ideological ends is, for some perceived social good, is a pattern throughout the history of leftism. Not liberalism, leftist. The Constitution actually has a mechanism for constitutional amendment. If you think the Constitution is outdated, advocate for an amendment. This is the democratic process. Judges should not be legislating from the bench. It is unconstitutional, and it is an illegal seizure of power from the people. And no, the American founding fathers never imagined they were founding a utopia. They understood human nature and the limits of the possible. Perfection simply is not on the menu. We are fallen creatures living in a fallen world, an imperfect world. Paradise on earth isn't within human reach. They recognize that human beings cannot bring heaven to earth. They did, however, create a nation that gave rise to unparalleled freedom and prosperity. And the utopian dreamers, time after time, their policies have not brought heaven to earth. They have brought hell to earth. Mass slave labor, mass executions, mass starvations, tortured, millions of innocent deaths. One century, the 20th century, 100 million people were killed, not at war, in peace, by their own governments, by socialist utopian dreaming. And they never came close to eliminating or even reducing wealth inequality. That's right. No, Soviet Union, huge wealth disparities. North Korea, you don't imagine there's huge wealth disparities. Communist China, and they never alleviated racism or corruption either. In fact, they exacerbated corruption on a mass scale. Socialism, it's a cancerous ideology that has brought humanity nothing but tragedy. This woke fascism has the potential to end the great American experiment and plunge us into yet another totalitarian hell. And you will have deluded leftists championing it all until they themselves are devoured by the revolution that they support. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Do hope you'll support my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. It's available on Amazon. Not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. And it's available in all the formats, audio, electronic, hard copy. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Bye-bye now.